So, I've spent over a decade working in the world of the independent world, not under the governance of the OEM. And throughout that period of time, we come across multiple scenarios where we have to make statements against some of the messages from the OEM channel. Now, I can fully understand this. If I was a sales guy working under the in the channel, of course, I'd want you to buy all of your product from me. I would want you to acquire all of your support from our organization. But however, we have seen a number of conversations out there that quite frankly aren't true. And it requires a conversation, because ultimately if you wholly believe in what some of the OEMs say, you can go down a path of believing that the independent world, our world, is not to be trusted. So let's talk about some of those conversations that we see. I mean, if you're not familiar with the term FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, but these are a number of the different statements that we see from the manufacturers. Firstly, if you buy products from outside of the channel, then those products cannot be supported by the OEM. Now, that's sometimes true if you get what we call a covered serial. So if you buy a product which has an existing maintenance agreement on it, if you then try to add that onto your existing maintenance agreement, you'll probably find that you'll get pushback from the OEMs, and that can't be supported. But if you talk to us and say we actually require a clean serial, then 9 times out of 10 that product can be added onto your maintenance product and offering. The second conversation that we see around the fear, uncertainty, and doubt is around the reliability of the product. So they might suggest that if you buy something from outside of the channel, that's due to be less reliable. Our counter statement to that offering is that everything that goes through our facility is fully tested. So it goes through a number of different processes. It goes through a visual inspection. The visual inspection looks to determine for any type of resoldering, remanufacturing within that. So anything that might suggest that it's been tampered with. Obviously, there's security concerns around buying outside of the channel also. So the only way to address that is to physically inspect the products. It then goes through an operational test facility where we check it for performance. We check against all of the ports. We check the iOS to make sure that that's meeting some of the standards. The third one, which seems to be making its way, which is more prevalent now than it's ever been, is what we call chain of custody. So we are seeing increasing messaging from the channel to say, if you buy outside of the channel, then there's the potential for a security compromise within the products that you might acquire. It's worth just mentioning there have been compromises within the OEM channel, so they're not actually exempt. If you do some research, you'll see that there have been compromises through the supply chain of the OEMs. So this is not something which is specific to our business. However, it is worth noting, if you place an order on us from the product to acquire a product, what we will do as a process is we will typically go away. That product will not be allocated to you until we raise the order in the system, and essentially the gap in the time window that we have for anything to be compromised is around 24 hours. So what I mean by that is the product's taken off of the shelf, it's then put through a test process in a test facility, and then it's put with DHL or FedEx and it's shipped to you. Now, if you consider what the lead time is within the OEM channels, that product sat within a distribution warehouse, and it can be there for anything up to 4 to 6 weeks. So we actually see the opposite in terms of the conversation around chain of custody. There's more potential for a breach in that supply chain if that product's stocked with the OEM. So again, kind of very little there in terms of an argument around the chain of custody. And the other part is around support of third-party products. So we've seen a number of different messages from the OEMs around using third-party products. So these can be things like memory, SFPs, optics. What they say within their messaging is, and in a Cisco world, they'll say if the optic, as an example, is causing the issue, then they may withhold support. So it's only if the optic is actually determined to cause the issue. So if you do log a attack request, the first thing that might ask is, are you using a genuine optic or memory or whatever it might be? What a lot of customers do in that case is they just swap that one out. What we are doing, I guess, in that case to help support customers is we're just supplying the genuine, so Cisco, HP, IBM, Dell approved memory optics or whatever, so that you don't run into those issues kind of around TAC. But this part is really worth knowing to fight for your corner. Essentially, obviously, if I was in the position of wanting you to buy everything from me, I would outline all of these to try and steer you off course. But these are the facts essentially that you need to understand. That buying, there's no more potential for risk or for accident by buying outside of the channel than there is to buying within the channel. A number of these issues have raised themselves within the OEM channel. So I hope that answers kind of all of the questions. If there's any other questions outside of that we haven't answered, then please feel free to drop us a line.